Hello, hello, hello. We are have been having a lot of fun the last 2 weeks. We departed from talking about video post production and asked a few of our favorite guests from previous shows to tell us about what they believe are the best must see films of all time. I put together a little compilation of the last you can see what our discussion and that follows after this. Some of the movies are well known, some are more obscure, some are rated G, and some definitely are not. Quentin Tarantino comes up a lot. I'll put a list of the movies in the comments if you want to check them out, and please comment and let us know what your choices for best must see films of all time would be. Here we go.
Hello. Happy holiday.
Hello. Oh, okay. What's your favorite?
Well, I think that is reflected in my decision what the best film of all time is. It's Star Wars. I represent. I think it deserves a lot of accolades still.
Well, that's really interesting that the time the voices are not synced up, and I don't know why. I'm going to try doing this a little different way. So give me a moment and let me try and I'm going to share my screen. Um, maybe I'm going to share my screen. Or maybe I will simply try that one more time. We will start it over again and see if it works better the second time around. Welcome.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Hello, hello. So, okay, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Well, I think that is reflected in my decision what the best film of all time is. It's Star Wars. You can tell.
Show your sweater.
I'm representing. Yeah, I think it deserves a lot of accolades still. It's a very influential film, and it means so much to people. We when I saw it when it first opened, I think I was there the first weekend back in the day, 77, and it just blew my hair back. It was insane, it was so immersive. But it showed me things I'd never imagined before that I would see on film, and it had characters that I cared about and cared so much about that there were more movies to come after that.
Yeah.
But I think, it was such a trailblazer technically. It was nominated for 11.
I think I should Neil on because Neil, how many times did you see Star Wars, that original Star Wars, in the theater?
11.
13.
Oh, she's beat you. What's a movie that you think maybe people should see that they might not know about?
Right. So my suggestion for folks is You Were Never Really Here. And it was directed by Lynn Ramsey in 2018. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, and it's actually available. It's an Amazon film, so you should on Prime for free.
Oh, and that's good to know.
It's a thriller about a very sad guy whose life is about violence. Really, his job is rescuing women from being kidnapped and so he's been doing this for years, and it's taken its toll on him, and he takes a new job doing it, which helping a senator retrieve his daughter who's been kidnapped. It's just really intense, but it's so beautifully done.
35 East 31st Street. The text said. You have kids, Joe? Nina. Her name is Nina. I've heard of these places. Underage girls. I wonder if she's there. Look at her. Harry said you were brutal. You can be.
What is your must see?
Must see of the well of all time. If anybody listened to my episode a few weeks ago, it's probably no surprise that it's Apocalypse Now. Uh, it's a film based on the novel by Joseph Conrad, which is and making a film about some soldiers in Vietnam who were sent out to retrieve a sergeant maybe or a lieutenant who's gone crazy in the wilderness of Vietnam, and I think like the best description of the film is the one that Francis Ford himself gave at Cannes Film Festival in 1979 when he showed a rough cut of and he said, "This film is not about Vietnam. That's not what it's about. It is Vietnam. We went out into the jungles, too many people, too much equipment, and money, and little by little we went insane." And that's what the film is. It's just chaos and human madness. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Really singled out Walter Murch, who anybody is interested in film editing would be familiar with the work of Walter Murch. He was also sound designer on the film, and it was an early example of 5.1 audio. And anybody who's ever seen it on a good sound system or in a cinema will always remember that the opening of the film is black screen, and all you're hearing moving around your head is and that's the sound of helicopters approaching. And throughout the film, helicopters have sort of presence throughout the film. So yeah, I just think I feel like because film is it's a corporate medium, it's a medium that's meant to make money. There's always this push and pull between art and commerce, which is interesting. That's what makes films interesting, and that's why something like Star Wars is so interesting, because it did so well. But I feel like this is a film where you have a Beethoven or a Mozart who is composing this film and putting it all on screen. Every single helicopter you see, that's not a digital helicopter. That's a real helicopter that they're all on intercom saying, no, 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 fly around here, fly around there. It was a huge undertaking, something that I think we would cut corners for today just to make. But it really is a beautiful operatic film. Everything's up there. Every explosion is real. And sure enough, the opening scene of the film is just a beautiful jungle landscape. You're hearing the doors come in. Suddenly it all blows up. Every explosion is real on screen. So I think it's sort of testament to, I guess, what I find interesting about film, which is when it's a collaborative thing, when you have to bring together thousands of people to make something happen on screen. I find that really exciting. The cameraman had to capture that perfect moment, whereas today we would just spend a day in After Effects creating the perfect moment. There, it had to happen on camera, and I love that about it.
They're
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again. Can you picture what will be? So limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land. Lost in a romance, wilderness of pain, and all the children are insane. All the children are insane. Waiting for the summer.
Wow.
That's just amazing. And I get tingles every time I see it. I feel like every film student should just watch that opening scene. There's no better example of film
That's
film at its best. Is because I think the worst thing you could think about filmmaking is that we're just filming what happened, and what happened is the story. But here he's really getting you into the mind of Martin Sheen's character. This guy's head is a mess, and he's in hell, and he's doing that with sound, doing it with the cinematography. It's all working together to create this poetry about how that man feels at that start of the film. There's no better example of it, I think.
Hey there, hi there, oh there. How are we doing, everybody?
Oh, great, great. And I love you have two choices for us, but
I do, because it's so hard for me to pick. So it's hard for me to choose a favorite movie because I'm a huge nerd. So my preference is may best and other things along those lines. But you get somebody like Danny Kaye, an amazing actor from years and years ago. And you go back to when movies were gigantic Broadway numbers that just happened to be caught on camera and with better sets and no audience. And you end up with just absolute hilarity. So there are quotable lines. There are songs that have lived rent-free in my head ever since I saw this movie over 15 years ago on a television late at night because I was waiting for a ride to an airport. But as soon as I got home, I got myself a copy of a DVD, and I've had it ever since. So this is Danny Kaye, The Court Jester, away by Zoc and Studio Ghibli. That is when I movies. That is when I realized, oh, hey, these cartoons watching for years and years and years and years been done through a different mindset can blow everybody away. Spirited Away is and will forever be within my top 3 greatest films of all time. I can't quote which word it won, definitely won all over the world. And it is one of, if not the best Studio Ghibli film, in my opinion. And a lot of other anime nerds will fight me on that, but they will still agree that it is within the top 5. So
Yeah.
Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away. Do we have the trailer?
Be here. Get out of here now!
What?
Leave before it gets dark. You've got to get across the river. Go! I'll distract them.
Mommy! Ah! I'm dreaming! Ah! Come on, wake up! I'm see-through!
Don't be afraid. I'm Master Haku. I just want to help you.
No!
Totally different take on my favorite movie. There's 2, but in fact, Miriam will tell you the one that I've chosen. So it's actually I'm not sure if you guys have watched The Green Mile or have heard of it at least, right? I'm sure everyone's heard of it, right? So to me, Frank Darabont directed The Shawshank Redemption, which should have been my all-time favorite movie, and is generally quite popular. A lot of people would have been the first choice, but The Green Mile set it apart. Really, it hit a tone where it spoke to a lot of people about empathy, compassion, cruelty. There were different that actually spoke to, but it was also quite humorous. I felt so touched on humor, tragedy, sadness, happiness, the warmth of living, the tragedy of death. It pretty much encompassed life in totality.
You think if a man sincerely repents on what he done wrong, he might get to go back to the time that was hashed for him and live there forever. Would that be what heaven's like?
I just about believe that very thing. John Coffey, you have been condemned to die in the electric chair by a jury of your peers, sentence imposed by a judge in good standing in this state. Questions?
Do you leave the light on after bedtime?
I know my man. I deal with him day in, day out. There doesn't seem to be any real violence in him. Until he kills a couple of little girls. John Coffey is a murderer. I don't think he did it at all.
Take my hand, both. You see for yourself.
You're talking about a miracle. I do not see God putting a gift like that in the hands of a man who would kill a child.
I dreamed of you. We found each other in the dark.
Like he dropped out of the sky. Miracles are funny things. You never know when they're going to happen. And when they happen in a place like this, that's the most unbelievable miracle of all. This is the story of a miracle that happened here where I work, on Green Mile.
I consider one of the major achievements in film, of course, was that first Star Wars, as said, because they accomplished technical things that no one had ever done before, but that suited a very well constructed story. And that's really, you have to have something that involves you in the story. And no matter the special effects, and if you have special effects, they have to be done so well that they don't take you out of the story. I had to, noted and have talked many times fairly early on as they're leaving the planet that Luke Skywalker has grown up on. They have that they're in the Millennium Falcon, and they have that first shift to light speed, and you have what was probably the single most amazing special effect that had been done in a movie up to that point, which was they look out the screen of that, and all of these stars just go blazing by them, and nobody reacts to it. It's just, oh, wow, thank God we're here, and the whole audience was sitting there going, and yet for the characters, that's just like every day, so there was nothing for them to react to, and that was the way it was done all the way through. That it was just what you were seeing on a reel, and that was very special. But then you have things like Casablanca, where you have a total mess. If you go back and you actually read the making of the movie, holy Toledo! One group of script writers fired, brought in another one, dumped those, go back to the original guys. After they'd finished most of the filming, they completely changed what the movie was about. Went to see Mad Max Fury Road. Wow, that was an incredible story. And it just completely swept you away and involved you for that length of time. You were totally in that story. So I know he has one that we were about this morning that has some of the most incredibly beautifully lit scenes, motion after motion, section after section. You have gorgeous lighting on a character where their head turned this way and they turned this way, and there is absolutely glorious light there. They didn't have time to reset that. That was all planned out, the lighting on some.
The sound of music, every time we watch it, it is so lit.
These walls were not built to shut out problems. You have to face them. You have to live the life you were born to live.
Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give. Every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream. A dream
love it. I
Talk
love
about
it.
a Mother Superior Stripes.
Yeah, really.
Well, and as someone for whom color is a bit of a specialty, I look at what we do now in the extreme amount of work we'd spend with a colorist in post processing to get something to look like that. And at that time, you you had color retimers that could do a color head to print on the film, but the whole scene you could make a little more contrast. You could shift the color a little bit, but you couldn't really change the contour much after it had been photographed. And
You
so
had to do it.
it had to be captured on that film. You had to have people that knew how to measure the light so they could get the exact quantity and the quality balance against anything else, including the shadows.
Valerian. Paul? Yes? Jess? No? Okay. It's the sleeper of the century. So Luc Besson decided to make a huge blockbuster like The Fifth Element and so forth. And unfortunately, it failed at the box office because Christopher Nolan that the opening week is going to be the same for Dunkirk as well as Spider-Man Homecoming. So this huge budget, I'm talking, it had an astronomical budget attached to it, but it is honestly one of the best sci-fi films. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was
Classic
yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh
I'll
my
go
God,
away.
I
Go
completely
away.
forgot. Yeah. So Pulp Fiction was, I think, my all-time favorite film of that sort of genre.
We have
Bo is
Yeah.
going like full stream Quentin here. Full.
It is.
I got to
It's
ask.
Quentin-
Initially,
Quentin-
you said that Kill artists think about the relationship between that material and the inspirational, if not stolen, material that it came from, Lady Snowblood.
Watched it. I've heard about I read the gossip sections. And
There's a
that's-
lot borrowed from
as-
Lady Snowblood.
As the whole movie almost is borrowed from there. So, however, I have to say that Kill Bill was made better.
It's films must see.
Oh boy. You know, I really, the theme for me in being in production, because production films I love, and I find very few are really that accurate. You know, it's usually like, I found out one time when I was going to try to make a reality show of somebody who did what I did, I immediately found out no network wants to show how shows are made. You know, so that was the one thing I learned in that, and I got totally shut down. Although they loved it, they liked the show. You know, I couldn't believe when I got here and I heard you talking, because I go right into Tarantino again, and it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yes.
Probably the best storyline I've ever seen in a movie about how Hollywood works.
Yes. Yes.
And everyone that I know in the industry, I saw it before I left, obviously, absolutely loves that movie. They can go on for hours talking about every aspect of it, from with Al Pacino telling DiCaprio in the bar about what his career is, and you see that long story, and you get every bit of emotion that he's going through. They're going, this guy's knows my life. Or the young girl, which is very accurate, the young girl who's a star there, and she is telling DiCaprio how to act. you know, and he realizes he knows nothing about acting, but he's listening to her and he knows she's dead on. Those things are real. You meet young people like that, kids that really are naturals. I mean, they may not even keep it for the rest of their life, but they know exactly what they're doing. They are professionals. They're there for a reason. So I thought it was just an absolute, that is the show I would recommend to see a movie for any reason, including the way it was constructed, you know, and not real life. It was a fantasy movie. It was once upon a time, you know, and that's what made it really work, in my opinion.
I'm Rick Dalton. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin. Put it there. That's your son?
No, it's my stunt double, Cliff Booth.
Hey, Rick Dalton double feature. I love that stuff.
Kill him.
Anybody order fried sauerkraut? Crime, you Nazi bastards!
Seems this world got you down. You're feeling bad, I've been so
Are you an actor?
No, I'm a stuntman.
girl. Look at me.
Well, you're still the Rick. I'm still here. You can do anything you want to him.
We're gonna have a flame.
Line.
Embarrass yourself like that of all goddamn people.
All right, what's the matter, partner? It's official, old buddy. Well, has been.
August night and the leaves hanging down and the grass on the ground.
Here I am, flat on my ass. Who I got lit in the store?
I'm Sharon Tate. I'm in the movie. You're in this? That's me. I play Miss Carlson, the klutz.
It's a ragged tent where there ain't no trees.
Charlie's gonna dig you.
And that gospel group telling you and me the Lord's traveling salvation show. Come on, babies, and grab your ladies, and everyone goes.
In this town, that can all change. Hey! Rick fucking Dalton. Don't you forget it.
Well, it's funny because my choice is kind of sort of a flip side to Craig's choice, and that is Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
So that's Stanley Dunn and Kelly, to another film about filmmaking, about the cinema at a particular time, but definitely the fantasy version, the charming, gorgeous, immersively beautiful version of that time, but told with lots of humor and amazing music and choreography, and I think it really transports us when we get to see that film. And if you ever have the chance to see it projected, you just have to like run to the theater and see it as much as possible to really appreciate all the colors and all the intricacies of the dance steps, and just all the gorgeous actors and what they're doing. It's a wonderful film, and I think it's inspired a lot of people, and it's at the top of many lists for a good reason.
Gotta dance. Gotta dance.
to you.
What do you think of it?
I like it.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm singing and dancing in the rain.
The show must go on.
The Stuntman. I don't know how many of you have seen The Stuntman, but I see, yes, you've checked that out. It is probably one of the most, I think, from the director's point of view and how a director gets a film made, although it's a bit over the top, but not by much. It really explains the process there, and how actors are treated and what the process is of them getting what the director wants on film, because there's so much manipulation of actors in a scene by the director that usually only the director and maybe one or two other people, director of photography, know before that is going to happen to the actor. So I thought that was really a wonderful, wonderful film. I don't even know where you read it now, but the Peter O'Toole.
Yeah.
I was thinking, gee, I've never heard of this movie. And looking it up on Wikipedia, it said, however, due to its limited release, it never earned much attention from audiences at large. As O'Toole remarked in a DVD audio commentary, the film wasn't released, it escaped.
That's great. That's
Well, that's it. And I apologize for the lack of sync between the voices and the sound. The lips and the sound were not lined up there, so I have to find out what happened there. But let us know what your favorite movies are of all time, and you can always go back and watch those 2 episodes in full on our channel. Happy New Year!